Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Viyik, where I share with you concepts and wisdom to help you live a vibing and thriving life. And today I really want to share with you the insights that I got from this book here, which is The Universe Has Your Back by Gabby Bernstein. It's it's a life-changing book for me. It actually put me on the path onto spirituality. When I get into how I stumbled upon this book, it's really a sign from the universe that it does have my back, and I can't wait to get into it with you. So let's get started. So how I came across this book, well, it was kind of random actually. I was coming out of a particularly bad relationship, and I wasn't really healing from a broken heart, but a broken self. And I was asking bigger questions of myself, like, why is it that I don't know who I am anymore? And whatever uh, I understood of myself during the relationship and before the relationship has now gone, and I just couldn't understand why I felt like I had no worth. I definitely didn't love myself at the time, and I don't think I ever did. And so while I was asking these questions of myself, the answer sort of came in a whisper that said, you need self love. You need to cultivate self love. And I had no idea where to start. And I don't think I ever thought about, what is self love and why do I need it. But I knew instinctively that that was the right answer. So, love. And so I typed it online, and then all these suggestions came up. But then I was strangely drawn to the book, The Universe Has Your Back. And maybe because it didn't have self love in the title, but I just knew that I had to understand more what this book was about. Like, really, the universe has my back. Previous experiences has shown me that it doesn't, that I really had to fight for what I had achieved. And there were so many things wrong in my life, particularly in my teens and my early childhood. How is it that the universe has my back? Even still, with all these doubtful questions, I went to the book. I basically downloaded a sample on Kindle, which you can do, thankfully. And when I got the sample, I wasn't even thoroughly reading the words. Just by opening the sample up and having the words appear on the screen, all of a sudden, how I was feeling before, which was, down and out, there was this painful pit in my chest and stomach, all of that just dissipated instantaneously as soon as I opened the sample up. And it was super bizarre. I just thought, whoa, what a radical, instantaneous change in energy. It was really a 180 flip on how I was feeling. And so that was intriguing. I couldn't understand it. I thought I was going crazy. But I just knew that there was something with this book. This book carried tremendous energy. And so I immediately bought the whole book online, started to read it. And wow, it just really opened me up to a whole new world, a whole new way of seeing things. I just knew that was the right path. And I just knew the things that the book was saying really resonated with me. And that's how I stumbled upon this amazing book, and it has literally changed my life. So I've got the book here. It's not that long to read. It's a very easy read. Gabby writes very clearly, and it's just a few chapters that really drew me to the book in the first place. So, things like you have a hidden power, you are the dreamer of your dream, your vibe speaks louder than your words, obstacles are detours in the right direction. I thought that was really interesting because I was coming up against a huge obstacle, and I've always had obstacles all throughout my life. And you are the universe, which was a radical perspective for me to take on. And then finally, the last chapter is Be the Instrument for Love, which really was interesting for me because I was so lacking in love, in self-love in particular. I felt like the world had abandoned me. The people who showed up in my life reflected that reality. Some of the themes that come through this book here, how you can actually be the love that you always wanted for yourself. It was really illuminating, actually, and really set me on this course for more spiritual seeking, for for understanding more, knowing more, because I realized that reading this book, I knew nothing. I thought I knew something about, personal development. I thought I knew something about psychology, but this opened me up to a whole new world. One that I often just, chalked it up to, oh, that's not for me. That's kind of woo-woo-y, and very hippy-dippy. But in reality, it's actually, if you can actually operate from spirit, you are playing a whole different ball game. And this book right here has put me on that path, and I'm so grateful. So in the beginning, I mentioned that I discovered this book because I was going through a rough time with a breakup. I felt very small. I felt devalued. I felt like I didn't understand myself anymore. Whatever semblance of confidence I did have during the relationship was totally gone and shattered. And so I was looking for answers. And again, instinctively, I just knew that maybe I needed to cultivate self-love. And this book does show you how to deal with that. But I think what really transformed my life for me from this book was that it really started a new relationship with the universe. I never really had a relationship with the universe, and by universe I mean the infinite intelligence that lives inside of you. I just couldn't believe it when I was suddenly sensing that there is a higher power, a higher intelligence that dwells within me and lives outside of me at the same time. I just thought, gosh, yeah, what would it be like if that force right there, that energy, was actually in service of me, and everything that has happened in my life, if I choose to see it in this way, is really for me. So that chapter around detours in the right direction, and I thought, wow, that's a really empowering way to look at these things. So with the setback being the setup, the breakdown being the breakthrough. And it was true. The breakdown of the relationship for me gave me a huge breakthrough for me in my own self-development and in spiritual growth, and put me on this whole new path. And there was a lesson for me to learn. And the book talks a lot about these spiritual assignments. So the same things will keep coming into your life until you learn from them. And so many beautiful things have, come into my life ever since I read that book. So for that whole week, I was feeling like I was on cloud nine. Everything was working out. People were looking at me differently. I saw people in a different light. Everything was really groovy. I even went into a finance seminar a couple of days after discovering this book. As I walked in, and I'm really terrible in these like networking situations, but I went in just really chilled, really happy. There was a lucky door prize. I just knew 100% that I was going to get that lucky door prize. And I was so bold to say that, as soon as my friend came in to the seminar a few minutes later, I told my friend, hey, I know I'm going to win the lucky door prize. You watch me. So the seminar was wrapping up, 2 hours later, and I think I was in mid-conversation with my friend, and they called out my name. And when they called out my name, I wasn't even shocked. I wasn't even surprised. I was like, yep, I thought so. I was operating from this higher power, and it was super radical. I was smashing things out of the park. Like, I went to this interview and I killed it. I never come out of these things thinking, oh, wow, that went well. But I just knew I was going to get the job based on the performance on the interview alone. I ended up making a speech. And for me, as an over planner, an anxious person, I would plan out my presentations. But this was the first time I was like, you know what, I just want to hit these points. I'm going to go in. And it felt like I was just channeling an energy, and every word landed perfectly. And I knew I was having an impact on my audience. It was the best speech I ever delivered, with the least amount of work and preparation I've ever done. I just thought, wow, that's a huge curiosity. I don't know how this is happening, but I just know that it all happened ever since I picked up the book, and it's been amazing. So now I want to share with you the 5 key takeaways that I got that will help you live a higher vibe life. So the first important lesson that I got from this book is how to surrender. And I really never looked into what surrendering means. And I think off face value, I thought surrender means just giving up and throwing in the towel and just, whatever. But surrender, I think probably the better word is faith. Having faith that, yes, the universe is on your side, it has your back, and so you can just sit back and relax. You can have faith that the universe is actually conspiring to make all the things that you need in your life, that you want in your life, happen for you. Surrendering is one of the best things you can do. Your quality of life, once you've decided to surrender and not be manic about, I have to do this, I have to do that, otherwise it won't happen. The fact that you can just sit back and know that you will be guided by the universe because you trust the universe has your back. Actions will become clear, what you need to take, because you are guided and led by the universe. And so faith in that thought will help you move through life with more grace, with peace, and things just become more fun that way because you're not stressed out. You're not worrying about, oh gosh, is that the right step? Is that not the right step? Because the right step will be revealed to you in good time, in perfect time. And it's not going to even feel like you've taken an action. It's just a sort of a normal unfolding of events and that you are engaged with. So that was a powerful lesson for me. And I have to constantly remind myself to keep up the faith, to surrender, to let go. And I feel a lot better once I remind myself that the universe does in fact have my back. The book also tells me the value of self-care and setting boundaries. I realize now that I'm quite empathetic and very sensitive to people's energies, and probably that's why it became this vicious cycle where I would feel people's negative energy, and then I would feel negative, and then I would attract more people who are kind of negative. So on and on and on it goes. And really, it's about understanding, okay, you know what? I do have power over how I feel. I can notice that, wow, this person's energy is negative, or it's not something that I really want to engage with. So I can have the choice to, not engage, pull away, and put myself in an environment where people are more uplifting and setting those boundaries for myself. So that was really powerful for me to know. So now whenever I get a whiff of negative energy, I can call it right away. I can recognize it, and I just extricate myself from the situation. So this book came with some meditations that you can download from her site, and those meditations were amazing. I have been practicing meditation before I discovered this book, for a good 3 years, and it's been good to just be mindful, help with my focus, be less stressed out, and get into a relaxation state. But her meditations took me to another level. It really evolved my meditation practice to not only just be in tune with myself and where my body is at and checking in, but tapping into another plane of reality that lives within you, your inner universe, your inner spirit. And that was when I thought, gosh, wow, this is it. I'm now developing a relationship with my inner world, my inner universe, so that I have some chance of actually commanding and controlling, well, not controlling, but just working with the inner universe so that I can create an outerverse that I want. This segues into manifestation quite well, actually, because prior to the universe has your back, I never really thought much about manifestation. I really thought that was really woo-woo. But her book really gave me insight into what manifestation is really about. And it's really about energy. So if you can decide how you want to feel, then the things that you want will be attracted to that feeling, which is an energy, and you have power over how you feel. So this book really gave me an introduction to manifestation, and some of the concepts on manifestation that she talks about in this book really made a lot of sense for me, who is quite logical and more scientific based. It's been a good starting journey on understanding manifestation, and I have since read other books on manifestation, and I'm very, very intrigued. But what she talks about, her broad principles on manifestation also appears in other writers who talk about this stuff as well. So definitely a great book to sort of warm you into manifestation and what it's all about. So since reading this book, my life has radically changed. I can say that hand to heart. It has shifted my mindset completely. It has opened me up to this whole new world of spirituality. Like I said, this book put me on the path. And ever since then, I've just been hungry to understand more, to know more, and hopefully I can share with you as I gain not even knowledge, but experiences in how to navigate a world where it's all inside of you, where you're knowing yourself, discovering yourself, and how to let your true and high self come to the fore and unfold and move you on your behalf, because that's the place where you want to be acting from, or living from, I should say. And I can't thank Gabby Bernstein enough for writing this book, for sharing with us and the world her gifts and her knowledge about how to work with the laws of the universe, basically, so that you can live in peace, so that you can discover more of your true self and hopefully be living a happy and joyful life that is based on love and not fear. So in conclusion, guys, I randomly picked this book up. Well, it wasn't even a physical book at the time. It was a Kindle book. But it radically changed my life. It gave me a 180 flip on my energy. I felt it right away. It opened me up to this whole new possibility. Like, wow, that happened. I think I must have went through a spiritual awakening, if I could say those words. This book is just a life changer in terms of just giving me a great overview on how the universe works, how there's this really benevolent force looking out after you. And for someone who has always felt alone in life and never thought that I was supported, this has given me a newfound faith for me to keep going, to keep growing, understanding myself, and know that I'll be constantly guided and led by the universe. I think you should really pick up this book. It's a really great entree into the world of spirituality. And even if you're a veteran in the space, it's still a great book to pick up. And I have this by my bedside just so that I can remind myself of the things that this book has, which is just pure gold. And I would love to just pick Gabby Bernstein's brain about how she came to knowing these things, because I sort of balked at the spiritual world because I never really had an experience that proved to myself that this is real. And because I had this radical shift, that fateful day in the library, I just knew that there was something out there much bigger than myself that is in operation. And so I would really encourage you to read this book, get the book, get the meditations that support the book. And I know for sure that you'll get something out of this book. That's it from me, guys. If you have any recommendations about other books that you'd like me to do a video on, or just recommend books of this nature, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. And if you got something out of this, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.